Okay. Welcome into a Tuesday night episode of Views from the Stands, your favorite show. I'm your host, Stevie B, Steve Brennan, and you know I got my two favorite guys with me, Mr. G Mike and Mr. BC. We are live and loving it, man. We're gonna have a jam-packed show tonight. We're gonna go over some wild news coming out of all the major sports, man. Some UFC news. We got some basketball news. We're gonna highlight and recap over that major OKC in Minnesota game. If you didn't have a chance to see that, that was one hell of a game, one hell of a finish. And we are also going to go over another fun Downbad Debate that's been a lot of success, and it seems like you guys seem like you like it a lot. So we're going to continue on with that. But without further ado, let me go ahead and introduce my main guy here. Over here, I got Mr. G Mike, and we got a lot of stuff to go over and tell you guys about. Mr. G Mike, let the people know how they get a hold of you and what you got going on, my man.
Yes, sir. Guys, I run a Telegram channel where we offer sports gambling slips for the NBA, NFL, NHL, MLB, whenever that comes around, UFC, and all other sports. It's $10 a month where we could get you anywhere from $50 to $100 to $150 a day. If you guys want to sign up, you'll see the link pop up in your chat right now. Or if not, if you're watching on the recorded episode, you'll see it pop up on your screen. And you'll see my social medias pop up. So if you want to start a conversation and see what it really is about, just send me a DM and we'll get you popping, babe.
Let's go.
Oh,
Mr.
man.
BC, man. Mr. BC, why don't you go ahead and let the good people know what you got going on too, my man.
I mean, shoot, you guys already know by now. We're 31 episodes deep. Mrs. and I, we got our small business, Brand-S.media. We handle your photography, your videography for your engagement, your weddings. We got family formals. We've got senior portraits. It's about February right now. It's never too early to start thinking about that graduation photo shoot that you or someone you know has been needing. So again, you want to hit us up, check us out at our portfolio at Brand-S.media. See if we're what you want. That's again, Brand-S.media, so we can help you make memories that last a lifetime.
Absolutely. We also want to give our shout out to our other people out there, man. Varsity Sports Nation, your premier source for sports and entertainment. Man, if you want some high school sports, they got you. If you want local sports, man, they got you, man. Here's the best part about it. They got a convenient app for you to download. You can download it on your iOS, your Android, your Apple TV, your Roku, Fire TV, anywhere they got your socials, man. Give them a holler, give them a check out, man. You can also catch us on there on demand, and they have a lot of great sports content from other creators out there, and it's a really great program. Really great company, man. We're really proud to be working with them. As well, we're talking about the socials, please. As well, if you can give us a like and subscribe, it'd be greatly appreciated. We finally broke that 100 meter dash.
Yeah.
Baby. We really appreciate it.
101, baby, 101.
We're all the way up to 101, so let's go ahead and make it to the next one, man. The next milestone. I really appreciate everybody out there for all the love and support you guys have given us and help us keep this thing going, man. It's been a lot of fun. So 31 and we got 101, so it's not too bad, man.
We are on our way to We are on our way to 1K.
There we go, man. That's the goal. That's the goal. 1K, man. All right, fellas. Well, let's go ahead and jump into some news, man. And I feel like this news has been coming and going quite a bit here. And stop me if you heard this one. Joel Embiid is out again for the Philadelphia 76ers. Joel Embiid had a knee injury this time. Before it was the foot, before it was just whatever Scotty else has got going on, man. So, all right, fellas, this question's been brought up quite a bit. Mr. BC, you're up top here, man. Let's go ahead and start with you first, man.
Right.
What do the Philadelphia 76ers do now? Joel Embiid has 4 years left on the contract after this one right here, so he has 3 more left. He's on the first part of the contract extension that he signed last year in 2024. He's due a lot of money. Whenever he's healthy, he's one of the best in the league. Mr. BC, do you find a trade partner for him, or what do you do with Joel Embiid at this point?
At this point, I think you just kind of spelled it out right there. When he's healthy, he's one of the best. But the best ability in the NBA time and time again has been availability. And so it doesn't matter if you're putting up 30, 35 points a night, getting like 12 boards and like 3 blocks. If you can't be there, you've shown that you're basically a glass cannon. You're kind of useless at that point for the 76ers. Now, as far as the contract situation, it's very unfortunate for them, but that's on them for making that decision. Yeah. But at this point, if I was Philly, I would just try to find somebody that'd be willing to take him. You might have to throw in some cash considerations. Maybe you might have to throw in maybe like not salary, but maybe like a young player, a draft pick or something like that, just to try to sweeten the deal. I mean, there's somebody out there that's going to take a chance on Joel Embiid, and he's still elite enough to garner a decent haul in return. But it's a very limited pool of teams, I think, that would invest in a center who's very injury prone, making that kind of money on the wrong side of 30.
Yeah, he's actually 30 right now, and it's so after if they're talking about shutting him down for the rest of the season, that's what the indications are. They're exploring options out there to see if there is anything else he can do. But if he's already been hurt, he's only played 19 games this season out of 56. Why bring him back at this point? And Philadelphia is just going on a downward spiral right now at the moment as well. They've I think they're on a 7-game losing streak. If I correct me if I'm wrong on that one, but Philadelphia, this just is another notch in the belt of just all the stuff that's gone wrong for the 76ers in this trust the process situation, man. G Mike, what do you do? Do you shut him down, or what's your thoughts on this one, bro?
Yeah, you definitely shut him down. If I'm Joel Embiid and I feel like I have some knee issues still going on, I definitely want to get it looked over, especially if I want to keep playing. And if I don't want to keep playing, I mean, you're still going to get a paycheck for the next 4 years. You have guaranteed money. It's 240 million plus that he's going to get guaranteed off of the 76ers or another team if they trade him off to. So I feel like Joel, if he wants to keep playing, for sure, check out the knee, see if you need some surgery. But I've heard that he has no cartilage in that knee. So if that's the case, I don't even think that he's going to be playing anymore, honestly.
Yeah.
But
you're looking at knee replacement.
Yeah, probably. For the team itself, I would consider trading him already at this point. You've already putting so much mileage on him, and he's putting so much mileage on his body that at this point, it's already like a failed marriage. It's just good to separate at this point. Trade him off with some draft picks. I do agree with BC there. I think they're going to have to add a little more to it when you're going to try to trade him away. But there are going to be teams out there that want Joel Embiid. The guy is a monster, and if he could come back playing to the same level that he was playing at, whatever team grabs him is going to be very happy, especially pairing him up with either another star or another 2 stars, whatever the case may be. But I feel like the 76ers definitely should trade for him, and Joel Embiid definitely should sit out this year and check out the knee.
Yeah, I agree. So what do you – well, let's put on your GM hats here, Mr. G. Mike. So we got the 76ers again here, man. And this is seems like a reoccurring situation for them. They always try to bring it. They brought in Paul George to go along with Tyrese Maxey and to go along with Joel Embiid. This seems like it hasn't really happened here. Who is off limits at this point? Because I feel like Philadelphia has to almost blow this thing up again. Is Maxey on the table, or – is he the only piece that's not available? Who isn't available left on that team now that you wouldn't have to try and blow this thing up and start from scratch again?
I think if there is anybody that's not available, it would be Maxey. But I feel like everybody's available on this team. I feel like they should go in a rebuild mode. They should do what OKC did and try to get some picks in return, try to get some cash in return. And, it is what it is. The next 2 to 5 years is going to be an uphill battle, but you got to do what you got to do, because right now these players are showing you that they can't do it. 8-game losing streak, and they're supposed to be one of the best teams in the Eastern Conference right now, and they're not even in the play-in.
No, and I think the other problem is that they're all the players that they have that are worth value are all going to be very expensive for other teams as well. So like Paul George his contract isn't cheap anymore, and you just got Paul George. Tyrese Maxey, correct me if I'm wrong, then he signed an extension last year as well.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, which I like Tyrese Maxey a lot. I think he's a very good player, and I think he would be great on another team. I think that they're expecting him to step up and be like a number 1 on the team, and I don't know if he's that kind of caliber player, but he would be a hell of a 1B, maybe a number 2 option.
Take him in O-Town. I'll take him in O-Town. Shoot, give me some Tyrese Maxey down here. I mean, we could always swing it though too, where like if they wanted player, not just draft picks in return. I mean, it's unpopular, but Jalen Suggs could be an option. Like I love Suggs. I think he's a great compliment team, but if it's like having a guy like Tyrese Maxey, it might be worth it. But as far as like places where Joel could go, I'm kind of thrown for a loop. I don't really have a lot of teams. Maybe a team like Golden State, where he wouldn't be asked to do as much, because especially on offense, because you've got Steph, you've got Jimmy now, you've got Draymond that can still facilitate a little bit. He can just kind of focus more on the dunker spot, posting up, and occasionally stepping out to the 3-point line too, and just being mostly jumpers on offense, and then mostly anchoring a defense with Draymond Green. Like Draymond Green would be a great, I think, fit for him as a partner, because psychologically, like Draymond, his knowledge of the game, like his awareness on defense is amazing. And then you have the physical dominance of Joel Embiid when he's healthy to kind of pair with that. I think it would take a good load off of him. Now, as far as being able to make that happen, that's another story entirely. It just really depends on what Golden State would be willing to give up. You'd have to give up a lot of young players, a lot of young assets. But it's like at this point, if you're the Warriors, if you're Steph, like, why not just go all in?
I don't know. I don't know if the Golden State would. I mean, I like the idea. I just don't know if how Golden State would be able to pull that one off. If that would actually work out or not. But having said that, though, man, like it's just crazy to think that like this kid. I mean, yeah, like you were saying, G, Mike, the cartilage rumor, that's a real thing. I mean, and this could be potentially. Possibly the end of the career for him at this point, at age 30, somewhere in there. And if so, it might be the end of his dominance. Maybe he could, make a resurgence as maybe like a bench player or something along those lines. I can't see him doing that with his attitude as well. He's very, I don't know how would you describe his attitude out there? I don't know. I mean, he's got attitude sometimes, and I don't know if conditioning is part of the problem either. But he's just been an interesting guy to say the least for the 76ers. And it's just a shame that this hasn't really worked out.
Definitely for me also too, like maybe a change of scenery would be good for him because we don't know how the training staff is there. Maybe their rehabbing isn't as good as they advertise it, and maybe going to a place that would actually get him looked at and get him taken care of properly. Not saying that that's the case, but if that is the case, that might be what saves his career. Might be able to give him another 5-6 years to be able to play in the league, which again, no cartilage in the knee. That's a big ask, but again, it's better than I think staying where you're at because that's literally the definition of insanity.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know, man. It's gonna be a lot of interesting stuff coming up here for Joel Embiid, and he's when he's on the court, he's one of the best to see. But the way it's been going, it doesn't look like he's gonna be back for a little while, man. All right, so we got some other news coming out. Speaking of injury, we got Dan Hooker, unfortunately, is going to be out of UFC coming up here on next Saturday. He was supposed to be taking on Justin Gaethje, and that was going to be one hell of a fight. I know a lot of people were excited to see that one. That was going to be on the same Pereira card, and now they're trying to figure out what to do next. Just looking over the lightweight rankings in this one, it's going to be kind of hard for them to replace anything at this point. You got Poirier maybe, but he's pretty much that's
he wants one last fight in New Orleans.
Right, and he's going to make that one a special one, and he's earned that one. Dan Hooker's not young either. Dan Hooker, I believe, is 35 years old, so this was going to be like his last hoorah to maybe get that title. He hadn't had a title shot before. BC, would you rather see a short notice fight for Gaethje or just possibly put it on UFC 314?
I'd say just put it off. I know that's probably not going to be Dana White's forte. He's always going to try to go for the big money fights, but at this point, I'd feel comfortable. I mean, we talked about before, the UFC's in a great spot right now, and 314 is already really stacked. But for me, I don't feel bad about if they just want to make a stacked card even more stacked. Like just make the fight happen. Let these guys get healthy. Let Hooker get a shot to get that championship like we talked about earlier. And just, you'll be fine. You're not going to lose as much money as I think people might allude to. Like I don't
think Hooker's going to get the I think if they're going to have to find a replacement. Hooker broke his hand. Like he's going to be out for a little bit of time. I don't know if you've seen the video or not, but he's literally posted videos. His hand looks nasty right now. So I don't think Hooker's going to get that shot, and it's going to be a little bit of time. It might be the end of the year if he's lucky. If he gets that next shot on there. What about you, G Mike? Would you rather see just added to a stacked card, or would you like to see an emergency? Let's throw somebody in there on like a week's notice because the fight is supposed to take place next Saturday.
I would definitely like to see a stacked card, no doubt, because I would like to see these two fight. I think it was going to be an amazing fight for sure. They're both dogs, and they both go at it for sure. Mm-hmm. But I'm with you. I think that Dana White, you're already going to see his hand is already broken. He's going to be out for 6 to 8 months. He's not going to want to wait. He's going to want to give Justin Gaethje a shot, and Gaethje's going to want to fight somebody right now too. I'm pretty sure he's not going to want to wait. So if both sides, Dana's team and then Gaethje's team both say, "Yo, let's find a replacement. I want to fight in this card," it's going to happen, and I feel like that's what's going to go down.
Yeah, if I had to guess, I would think it's going to be on 315 and not 314, just before the amount of time, so it gives both camps a little bit of extra time. And would you put him in that slot without having to knock another one of those out? We just talked about it last week on how stacked that card is already. I mean, you can always take another headliner, but I would think it would be smarter for UFC probably just to move it to maybe 315, but that one doesn't have as many main events coming up, and that gives Gaethje and whoever the replacement fight's going to be a little bit more time in training camp so they put together even a better fight. But yeah, just such crappy news, man. Dan Hooker's a hell of a fighter, and Gaethje is always awesome. He's going to put on a show, man. So that one really sucks. I was looking forward to that one.
And who do you think is going to win this fight?
Out of them two?
Yeah.
I would have took Gaethje.
I like the way that Hooker fought last time, man. I don't know. I feel like he brought a lot of intensity and he didn't quit for nothing. Like even when he was getting smacked, he was like, "Yo, I'm not quitting. I'm gonna keep coming at you," and that's what he kept doing.
And it is kind of hard to forget whenever Gaethje, man, that UFC 300, man, that was one of the coolest moments, and like that was my favorite moment I think of like the year for like almost all sports when Holloway and him got in there. He just pointed to the ring and said, "Let's go!" Like that was one of the coolest moments I've ever seen, man. And
at that last second too.
Yeah, unfortunately for Gaethje, he just got rocked.
Bombs.
But man, that was such just a cool moment. But I think that's the kind of fight you're going to get with these two guys as well.
Yeah, no, for sure.
I think that they're going to be absolute just throwing hands and trying to prove a point out there. So that one's a shame that we're not going to be able to get a chance to see that one. But it's definitely, I think, going to probably be back in the works. And whoever they get to replace that, there's a lot of still good fighters that's available in there, you know. So I think they'll be all right because UFC had the lightweight division is still pretty nice right now. Getting a little bit older. Some of these guys are going to be on their way out pretty soon, but there's still a lot of quality fighters in that top 10 division that can make another fight for him or something. So. Well, I'm sure Dana's got this under control and he'll figure something out for it, but. All right, man. Well, so we got some other wild news coming up here, and I want to see what you guys' thoughts on this one, man. The Jacksonville Jaguars made some news as hiring the second youngest GM in James Gladstone at 34 years old. I thought he honestly was the youngest, but turns out I guess the Browns did that back in 2020, I think it was, whenever he was 32 years old for the GM. They hired man, the Jags are doing some wild stuff in the offseason, man. They got Liam Cohen, who they just got. You're from your Bucks, BC. Liam Cohen's only 39 years old. They have a bunch of guys that do not have experience right now in the positions that they're in.
Yep.
BC, man, Liam Cohen's coming over from your old team. What do you think this is? Do you think the experience actually matters, or do you think that just, if you know football, you know football?
I tend to lean more on that. I mean, Cohen, to me, in the time that he was in Tampa, he showed that he has a great mind for the game. He's been shown that his offensive concepts are very innovative. The pre-snap motion is absurd, how he's able to just draw defenses. Like, he's able to either able to fool them or just kind of get them to reveal what they're doing. And then just on top of that, he's been able to adapt very well over the course of the season. And even in not just over the course of the season, but in game, in half, he's adaptable, versatile, and that's a great offensive mind. So as far as defense goes, we'll see what that, we'll see who he brings in to head it, or who, runs that side of the ball.
Well, that was kind of what I was getting at as well, is that so you got all the guys that the Jags have hired so far this offseason have never been in the position they're in. Including Tony Baselli just took over at their Hall of Fame left tackle, just took over, I believe, as president of operations. You got the OC and the defensive coordinator both have never been in that position, and you got a kid who's 34 years old that is just taking over for the first time as the general manager. That one's just shocking to me because if you know football, you know football. I understand that point. I think as a coach, I think you can get away with it a little bit more. As a general manager, there's a lot of behind the scenes and a lot of stuff that you got to know. I mean, I have to say it can happen. Theo Epstein for my Red Sox, he was in his 30s whenever he took over the Red Sox and got them to a World Series and 2 World Series out of it, whatever. So it can happen. G-Mike, man, do you think that it really matters the experience level, or is it just, maybe you really know your stuff?
The experience level does matter for sure, but you got to get experience some way, and that's the only way to get it is to gain it. And I feel like if they know something that he has the it factor of, I could run an organization, I could make some good trades, I could make some good signings, I know exactly who to bring in, I know who to push out, and stuff like that. I feel like you just know what you know, man. And if he knows football and he knows how to be a general manager, he doesn't have experience, but if he knows what he knows, then they know it. If you get what I'm saying, there has to be a reason why they hired him, right? It can't just be like, oh yeah, let's just grab this guy off the street. Because if not, I would have applied. You feel me?
Yeah.
But but like they know something that we don't know, and to be in a position like that in a league that makes millions and millions and millions of dollars a day, there is something that he has that we don't know about, that they know about, and they wanted him to bring it to Jackson.
Yep. Just doing a little research into it too. I knew they were pretty young whenever they hired. So the OC they just hired is 29 years old, and the DC I guess is 42. So,
hey,
I mean, you're right.
I mean, the only thing with age is that you have more experience for sure, but that doesn't mean you're more skillful. That doesn't mean you have more intelligence. That doesn't mean jack shit, really. I mean,
it either goes down as this is genius. I mean, who would have thought Sean McVay would be Sean McVay? Then he was a young guy at one point in time. Exactly. I just think that the GM position, that one is just you got to work with contract. There's a whole lot more. I think with that one, I think that is kind of more shocking. I think with the coaches, if you get somebody that understands how to do things and they click, they work together well, and the players buy into it, fine. But the GM, that's a whole other thing, man. Like, for instance, I mean, like, let's just go hypothetical, man. Like, go back to like a Terrell Suggs or a James Harrison or one of those guys. Can you imagine that 34-year-old kid going up, oh, hey, Mr. Harrison, you need to show up on time or you're going to be cut or something? You know what I'm saying? Like, I just feel like there's got to be a level of they have to buy in. If they buy in, then fine. I'll be a moron on it. But I'm just saying that there's just a certain level that I think you need to have some experience. Now, the kid did have experience. He did start with the Rams, and he worked his way almost like an Eric Spoelstra did. He was lower level and kept on working his way through the organization. I don't know. It just seems like in a very young age to be in that position. Maybe an assistant GM and then works his way to the head. But I don't know. That's just kind of shocking to me.
I think it all depends. Oh, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, to me, it doesn't really matter. That's like, I don't want to turn this into politics, but just to say the quick comment on it, on how we keep our politicians old as hell, over 50 years old. Why? Because they're older? That doesn't mean anything.
Because they know how to play the game. That's why.
Yeah.
They know how to play the game. That's
what if this guy has been playing Madden since he was a kid and he's been doing the GM franchise forever and he knows exactly what he's doing?
That's how the New York Jets. That's how the New York Jets do their GM scouting, apparently, because they were supposed to make a trade and his Madden rating wasn't high. So I guess that's the new way to do things.
Yeah. Right.
Yo, don't knock it.
Sometimes I really believe when it comes to coaches, I really believe that they should play Madden so they can learn some damn plays. Because sometimes these coaches out here be running some plays that I'm just like
straight cocky.
What the hell's going on? Yeah, cocky as hell.
Yeah. Well, two things. One. Five-time Super Bowl champion in Madden with my Bucks in GM mode. So I'm just saying, I know how to run frame. Hey, no. Hey,
pro. He's on rookie. He's on rookie.
I'm on pro. Shut up.
I'm on pro.
Oh man. Anyway, but two, I think also it depends on as well, like with the culture that you got in Jacksonville. If it's a lot of young, they've always kind of lent young, especially with this squad that they've got up. So I think it does make a little bit of sense having somebody that's a little closer in age to these guys. They kind of understand a little bit more of the ins and outs, kind of the struggles of what it's like to be a younger adult versus somebody that's in their 40s or 50s, and they can't really relate to a lot of young players. So, and I know, again, coaching versus GM, there is a difference, but that just might be the mentality that they have about it. They just want to kind of go young across the board. These guys kind of all understand each other, what the life and grind is like at a certain age, and they can all just kind of grow up together in a sense. But I will say this, it's going to be interesting, the GM-coach relationship as well, with Cohen being 5 years older than Gladstone at 34. So like that to me is going to be funny. It's like, okay, who's going to really run the show? Is this more of Cohen being like, hey, do what I want. This is what I want. This is what I want. Oh yes, Mr. Cohen. Or is Gladstone actually going to be like, hey, I'm the GM. Just tell me what you need and we'll make this happen. Don't, you're not doing my job for me too.
I feel like it should be a team effort anyways. I mean, everybody's trying to win. You're in the same organization. You're getting paid by the same owner.
Yeah.
The owner's going to want some wins. He's going to want some playoff wins. He's going to want some conference wins. He's going to want a Super Bowl. And if the only way to do that is to work together as a team. If you're out here trying to be like, oh, I'm your boss, you got to do what I say, or, oh, no, I'm the coach on the field, you should do what I say. No, you should be working together to try to win. But
it does happen. So we'll see.
No.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be very interesting dynamic. He's already off to a flying start with that one. So
not awful.
All right, man. So we have some more NFL news, and the NFL Combine is going on right now, and we're going to be getting into more of that next week. But we had some interesting news come out, and I want to get you guys' thoughts on this. So a couple weeks ago, there was a rumor that there was a certain team that said that they wanted to try and ban what they like to call the tush push. Technically, it's not an illegal play, and it's just been the Philadelphia Eagles have been able to master this play. It turns out now at the Combine, it came out that it was the Green Bay Packers that has said that they are the team that has filed a petition to try and get the play banned. They also interviewed Sean McDermott of the Buffalo Bills because they've ran the play as well. And he's also citing that player safety is involved. They interviewed Andy Reid. Andy Reid said, if I could pull it off, I'd be doing it all the time. I think it's a great play. So some of the NFL coaches are on board and some are against it. I think it comes down to a lot of they maybe can't stop it, so they're trying to ban it. BC, man, you played I believe offensive line whenever you played it for a little bit. What's your thoughts on this? Should the play be illegal, or should it be banned, or should it be continue to be used?
Leave it to the Packers of all teams to want to ban the tush push. Just saying. Pause. Anyway, my perspective on it is like, look, it's a great play. There's no, and I've seen it done against my team numerous times. We've both been unsuccessful and we've been successful against it. The thing is, stack the center, stack the box, and just load up. That's the only way you're going to stop it. But it's like that's the point of the NFL. Like that, it's not fair for offenses to get handcuffed just because the defense can't find a way to stop it. As far as player safety goes, I do understand it to a certain point, but when you're really thinking about it, like you're talking about just going from about 1 yard apart and just that's where you guys are meeting head on. Like that's not going to be really the biggest car crash going on because offensive linemen do that literally. Somebody that did this for almost a decade. It's literally little mini car crashes every time as an offensive lineman, but we don't get concussions after every single play. So I think the player safety thing is just being, I think that's kind of more of a cop out. And it's just their way of saying, hey, we can't stop this play. So player safety. Like, no, find a way to stop it. Be innovative. That's what the NFL is all about. Innovate. Figure out a way to stop it.
What are the player safety mentions that he mentioned, or Sean McDermott? Did he mention any player safety? Like what is the player safety that he's talking about?
Well, because the way the center has to position themselves, and whenever they're going low, it can lead to a lot of neck injuries because of the way that the play is designed. Technically, what I've also read as well is that it kind of is a illegal play because the quarterback cannot be, I believe it's be within 1 yard of the center. Whenever they're doing this play. So it's already the helmet can't be over the ball as well, in which that should be offsides as well. So like there's certain rules that they can't really figure out as well. So
well, my thing is, so the quarterback's helmet can't be over the ball. That'd be offsides. Has it been offsides? Like
that's what that's what some of the other teams that I've read that are saying that they're trying to go through the rule book of it and saying, right, it might be one of those air quotes that they can't really find it, can't really see. But if you do some slow motion replays, you can see that sometimes there are times where the quarterback's head is over the ball before the ball is snapped because of the way they do it.
So then in that case, the refs need to do their job and call off sides like they're supposed to and back them up 5 yards. And yeah, that solves the whole thing. It's not a matter of let's cancel this play. No, refs, do your jobs. Honestly, that's what about 95% of problems and issues that I see on day to day with the NFL are refs not doing their jobs.
I do like how Nick Sirianni handled it though at the presser. He was saying that he was almost borderline like offended by that they're trying to say that like it's an unstoppable play and stuff. He's like, you guys act as if like we haven't practiced this and done this and stuff like that. We just figured out how to do it right. So don't blame us and make it sound like we're the villains because we figured out how to do this play. G-Mike, man, what's your thoughts on this one?
It's not an unstoppable play because I've seen it being stopped.
It's been stopped, and that was kind of what his
very
point
successful.
was.
It's just very successful. There's a complete difference.
All you need is a 350-pound mass monster at nose guard, and you stop it.
And a quarterback that squats 400 pounds. There's no other quarterback in the league that squats 400 pounds right now.
Yeah,
and it's like
I want to say he might be doing more than that.
Yeah, it's somewhere around.
Yeah, man, he's putting up some weight.
To me, it's very annoying And, I don't think the Green Bay Packers are the only team. Maybe the Green Bay Packers were the only team that has been caught saying this, or they came out and said that it was them. But I don't think they're the only team that said this. But
yeah, I agree. I think there's been other teams.
We'll go off of this. I think it's a weak move that the Green Bay Packers complain about a play that they have tried to use, that they want to be successful at using, but they can't because they're trash, and they can't do the play because they don't have a quarterback that squats 400 plus pounds. They don't have a nose guard that can move through 250 pounds to 350 pounds of weight so quick. And it's just like, bro, like, you guys complain about this play being used over and over and over again, but you guys just can't stop it. So that's why you're complaining. And then you go to use it, you can't do it. You're not successful at doing it. So you complain some more to the NFL to try to ban it. I think it's a weak move. I don't like the Eagles. I'm a Cowboys fan. I do not like the Eagles at all. I hate when they do that play. But I'm not going to sit here and cry about a football play that's happening during a football game that we cannot stop. That doesn't make sense. Like, bro, that's like giving out participation awards out here. No, that's not. I don't mess with that. Stop crying about a play that you cannot stop. It is what it is.
Yeah. And also, too, if you're that offended by this play, how about you do something where you're not in that position for them to use it? How about instead of making it third or 2nd and 1, you stop them and go for 3rd and long? How about you just be better at what you do?
Yeah, I agree. I'm okay. I'm okay with the tush push. It's a boring ass play. But on the other hand, too, it is pretty ingenious. Honestly, like you were saying, if you have a strong enough offensive line, if you have a strong enough quarterback, you shouldn't penalize them because they pick the right people for the
your quarterback and get the weight up.
Right. Jalen Hurts is one of a kind, and he can do it. There are other quarterbacks that are able to do it. They just don't do it as successfully as they can.
Yeah. And if you want to stop it, just find somebody big that plugs up the middle like Vita Vea, and it works. I've seen it happen. That's literally how we stopped them in Tampa. Just stack everybody towards the middle, and it works. It's not rocket science.
Yeah. No, I agree, man. Yeah, so I agree. I think this is going to keep on continuing to happen. I think they're going to try and maybe come up with some sort of rule to change how the tush push is done, and ban it of some sort maybe. It's also going to take the other owners to step up and how they feel about it, because I feel like that could be the new thing is that they're going to start looking for players that guys can pull it off. To be honest with you, but
weak. They got to get a committee to stop a play because you can't stop it on the field. Weak.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, just as a slight quick update, real quick, just as on a personal one here, I'm glad they got the Lakers and Mavs. It's the first time that Luka is playing on the outside. It's in LA, and Luka just hit a shot, and he shot a shot over to a certain sideline that Nico Harrison was sitting at, and he's already been glaring at him a couple times. So I don't know, man. I think Luka's gonna go off, man.
Luka got 10 already in the first. Kyrie got 10 already in the first.
Yeah, Dallas is playing a lot better than I thought they were going to. I thought we were going to kind of get blown out just because of all the excitement of the Luka and all that stuff. But so far, Dallas has been kind of hanging in there, so I'm happy with that. But it was kind of interesting. There was pregame interview. There's pregame stuff, and you can see Nico Harris on the sideline, like just watching Luka, and Luka was like just putting on a show. They come on looking at each other, and yeah. I don't know, man. It still just hurts a little bit, I suppose.
Yep. Disappointed.
All right, man. So we're going to go ahead and jump over. Speaking of the NBA, man, there was one hell of a game last night. And if you guys didn't get a chance to see it, the Minnesota Timberwolves won over the Oklahoma City Thunder in overtime, 131-128. Man, the Timberwolves came back from a 25 points down, and they came back and won the game in this one, man. BC, did you get a chance to watch this game, man? This was a hell of a game.
I got a chance to watch it towards a little bit of the tail end there. Like that, oh my gosh, absolutely absurd. I don't know. It depends for me. Like when I enjoy watching an overtime game, there's sometimes I'm like, I don't care. But like that, oh my gosh, incredible game for sure. And I did not expect Minnesota to pull it off, honestly. Like I just thought, I thought this was just gonna be one where it's like, all right, OKC, this is gonna be their chance to kind of show. They've learned a little bit of something since last year in the playoffs, but, like Minnesota
didn't learn too much.
Yep.
They didn't learn too much. This is what I was talking about. OKC against any team in the West right now, man. Yes, they're a great team. They're a great defensive team. Top number 1 right now. Their offense is up there too, top 5. But when it comes to closing out games and actually winning against these top teams in the West, let's see if they can do it. I'm not saying they can't. But Minnesota was a great example of that.
Yep. As like I said, when all this was going on, I was like slowly just hearing G Mike's voice creeping up in the back of my head. I was like, shut up.
Yeah. Go ahead.
No, I was gonna ask. Did you see what the coach said at the end of the game in the post game interview?
No, I didn't get a chance to. No,
I did. Brown to bring that up. Go ahead, Mike.
No, I was just gonna say that. So the head coach of the Minnesota Timberwolves, he was complaining on the fact that he hates playing Oklahoma City Thunder because of the fact that the refs give every call to Shai. And I wanted to hear your thoughts on that. Do you think that the refs? One, do you think that the refs give Shai too many calls? And 2, should the opposing coach be complaining about that when it's a game that you were down 24 points or 25 points, or whichever the case may be, after halftime, and then you're coming back to win just by 3? You won because of your star player getting a game-winning block, because if not, I think it would have probably gone into double OT. But 1, do the refs give Shai too many fouls? 2, should the opposing team's coach be complaining about this when you're already down 24 to go into the second half?
You can go ahead first, man. PC.
I mean, I think that's just the way it is with a lot of stars, not just with Shai, but like I think most stars do get favorable calls as opposed to like normal role players and everything like that. But yeah, should at that point in the game, I don't agree. Like, oh my gosh, you missed this call or that call. Like at that point, you're down by 24. That's on you guys for not doing your job and stopping them. Like I understand 1 or 2 calls could maybe affect a game, but not one that's out of reach by that. And at the same time, again, you guys pulled it out. So, like, where's the complaining at? Like, come on.
Well, I mean, I think that so I think there's a couple of things. One, I want to start because I've always been critical of Anthony Edwards, and that was one of the plays I was waiting on him to see. I've always been more of like, what have you done besides you're a pretty good scorer, and that was a hell of a defensive effort, and that's what he needs to be doing on a consistent basis in Minnesota. So I want to start by saying that, like, I thought that Anthony Edwards did a hell of a job on that one. So kudos to Anthony Edwards for that one. And that's the type of player that he needs to be more often than just being a scoring threat. And that was just an awesome play. I think for as far as SGA goes, I think he ended up with like 17 free throws, and I think Minnesota only had like I think Minnesota only had like 12 or something along those lines. So there was definitely a gap that Shai I think almost had more free throws than the entire team. What was it then?
Negative.
Minnesota he had 17 by himself.
Minnesota had 39 free throw attempts and made 34. Okay. OKC had 29 free throw attempts and made 23. Shai had 17 attempts. Yes, you're correct there. Made 14. Yeah. But, okay, so sorry to cut you off, but with you saying that right now, we got the head coach of the opposing team that's complaining about a star future MVP, in my opinion, that he's getting way too many free throws, but your team got 10 more free throws than their team did. So make it make sense to me, please. Why are you complaining about the star player getting the free throws when he's out there doing his job? He knows how to manipulate the game and take advantage of what the rules are. It's not his fault that the rules are like that now, but he's using his to advantage because he's quick, he's versatile, his agility is through the roof, and he has great IQ off the court. And you're complaining about a player that's doing that against your team when your team had 10 more free throws.
Yeah, and that's kind of what I was going with SGA is that he's a very gifted offensive player, and he's able to create a lot of contact. Ergo, a Luka, a Dirk, some of these guys, Anthony Davis, some of these guys are just very good at, especially guards. James Harden, these guys are very good at manipulating the defense to where you're forced to always get that. Either you're getting buckets either way. You're going to get the shot and a foul, or you're going to get just the free throws, and they're just very gifted at doing it. The only way around it is maybe change the way the fouls are called, but you can't do that either because they are making contact with the person. So it's not. It gets frustrating at times. I can see it's another player. I know you're probably going to get super pissed at me on this one, G Mike, but I go back to the Dallas Mavericks whenever they played the Miami Heat, and Dwayne Wade set the record for like 94 free throws in a series, something along those lines. So I know exactly what he's talking about whenever you're pissed about that.
I get it too.
Yeah.
But my thing is that it's the league that has done this.
Right. In this
you know
situation,
what I'm saying? Like,
you're right. In this situation, I think Chris Finch was wrong. I think that that you guys got the victory, even though, and like you were saying too, you did have 10 more. Now, I can understand how some coaches do get frustrated with this. But I mean, Anthony Edwards is a pretty amazing offensive player as well, who gets a lot of foul calls as well. But whenever it's not in your favor, then you get kind of annoyed. So I think it's more of that kind of thing.
And Anthony Edwards had 10 free throw attempts, just to put that out there. Yeah, 10.
Yeah, exactly. So I think that it's something that the NBA has had issues with for years and years. You know, that's part of the reason why I think a lot of people don't think LeBron is one of the greater players, because they didn't seem to think that Jordan got fouled like LeBron does, and they just didn't react the same way. Even though Jordan definitely did a bunch of his fair share of, you know, complaining to the refs and all these other things, but LeBron is a lot more boisterous and a lot more. It just seems like a little bit different. And then LeBron always seems like he's whining for the call. And so some of these guys get used to I'm getting the call for all this stuff, and they don't get it. So if we're always saying, like, let the guys play, then you end up with a bunch of what Luka did last year in the finals, where, you know, half the time you're spent hands in the air whining that you didn't get the call. So I think these guys, like the NBA's just got to figure out something. Either, I hate to say it, either you call it straight up and everybody's getting the same calls, which will never happen. Or you modify how the foul calls are called now. You know, maybe there needs to be like more actual contact, and not just you know, it has to impede the shot from going in to be a foul, maybe something along those lines. That's the only way you're going to fix it, is after you come up with some sort of universal thing, because these superstars, that's how they have half of them make their living at the line. They're smart enough to be able to get the foul call. You have to call it the certain way, because that's the rule book. You know, they are making contact. Is it impeding the shot? I don't think so some of the times, but
I feel like the way that because I know you guys knows this, but for the fans out there, the way that they call fouls in the playoffs is completely different than the way that they call fouls in the regular season. And I think it needs to be the same. It needs to be the same, because then you go into playoffs, and then you got what happened last year in the NBA Finals with Luka crying and all this stuff, because in the regular season, you're calling the fouls for him, but in the playoffs, you're like, nah, that was too weak. That was too weak. And it's like, no, you should call it the same, so the players get used to it, and the coaches get used to it.
And what I think though too is a lot of times in the playoffs, there's a lot less referee. They save their best refs, the best teams, for the postseason. So you're getting a lot less guys and gals that are calling ticky-tack fouls, and you're saying, like, I think it's just an issue of training the refs though too. Like, are you wanting to, you know, I don't even know how to say it. Like, you have so many games during the regular season to cover. You have so many different ref teams that you have to have. So it's like you're going to have to find a way as well to train these refs to get them to that level. And it's going to be very difficult for certain refs to just be that good. But, you know, you gotta figure it out. Otherwise, like you said, we're gonna just keep seeing more of this crap in the regular season, the postseason.
I think it's more of it's an easier way to do, like what G Mike was saying, is, you know, make the regular season the same as the postseason. Granted, I know the postseason is supposed to be let the boys play, but why is the regular season? Because what's happening as well is the NBA's ratings are going down. This year, the ratings haven't been as good as they've been in the past. And I think a lot of people are kind of almost finding like it's a very exciting, fast-paced game, but it's getting kind of slow and boring sometimes when you got these guys. You got between Shea and Anthony Edwards in that game, which was an amazing game. They went to the foul line 27 times between the two players, just those two players alone.
Imagine how much time that takes up, too.
100%. So,
30 minutes at least.
Yeah, absolutely. You have enough time that you can take your shot. You have to go through your pre-shot, whatever it is you're doing and stuff. So I think you're exactly right that they need to forget this playoff basketball is different. Make the whole damn thing the same all year round, and it might actually help some fans out come back to the game and to see that intensity all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Either way, though, kudos to both teams, man. That was one hell of a game. Even though so do you think Oklahoma City just blew it, or did Minnesota just, you know, get on one of those runs that you just go on and you can't stop? 25 points is a hell of a lot of comeback, man.
No, I think they blew it.
They blew it.
they blew it in the fourth quarter. In the fourth quarter, Minnesota had 41 points. OKC only had 19. At that point, they were up by like 15 going into the fourth, something like that. And they took their foot off the gas. I mean, dude, just looking at the box score, Minnesota had 6 players with 12 or more points. They had 4 players with double doubles. 4 of those players had 10 rebounds, 11 rebounds, 13 rebounds. Anthony Edwards had a triple double. No, I'm sorry, I'm looking at the wrong thing. He had a double double, almost had a triple double with 2 assists less. But bro, they were going crazy. The Minnesota was going crazy in that second half. While OKC, they only had 4 players with 12 or more points, and the only player to have a double double was Shy with 10 rebounds. How is it that your point guard is getting 10 rebounds and not your bigs? How is that?
Yeah.
That makes no sense. But
longer shots, longer rebounds, so it's gonna be a lot more opportunities for your guards. But
hell, the only time that makes sense is when we're playing 2K.
yeah,
right.
Yeah.
It's the only time that makes
Where
sense.
it all makes sense.
Yeah, exactly. Hell, I mean, if you play enough 2K, you can probably get a GM job too. You never know. All right, man. Well,
and that's how Minnesota won too. They made 11 more free throws than OKC.
Yep.
That's another
that is very ironic though of the game that Chris Finch goes off about the free throw stuff, whatever they had free throws themselves.
Exactly.
The irony is kind of rich in there.
Yep.
They want to complain about the stuff when it's against them, but when it's for them, they're like, bro. No, it's cool, bro.
All right. Well, you guys got anything else you want to wrap up with that one, or do you want to move into this down bad debate that we got? Because this one's gonna be kind of fun.
Just get better ref teams during the regular season. That's all I ask for.
Facts. Up to this point, do you think Shai should be MVP or Jokic? Because I think Jokic is number 1 right now.
Yeah, I would say Jokic probably, just because again he's just having that kind of a season.
Just had 19 assists in the game a couple of days ago. It's really difficult to go against Jokic because his box numbers are just so crazy and what he does. You know, SGA I think is I don't know how you say it. Yeah, I can't say that SGA is like a better player because they're 2 different players. So like I don't want to make it sound like I think that Jokic is less of a player than SGA or anything like that, but they just do it different ways, and it's really hard.
You could say Shea has more of a 2-way impact than Jokic does.
Jokic does everything.
Jokic does everything 100%.
I
just feel like you take away Jokic from the Nuggets and you take away Shai from OKC, and let's say they're both free agents, or they don't go to any team. You just take them out of both teams. I think the Nuggets will still be a playoff team while the OKC would plummet because Shai puts up so many points that if he doesn't put up those points, they don't win a lot of games.
And on top of it too, SGA is so efficient too. It's not like he's doing like one of those, Russell Westbrook stats where he's shooting 52 times in a game and making 20 shots or something. You know what I mean? Like he's extremely efficient. So he's doing so that's a really tough one. I think because of consistency bias, I think SGA would end up just because they want to see maybe something a little bit different. And Jokic has always pretty much been the top dog for it. And what was it? It was these 3 last. It was Jokic, Luka,
3 of the last 4.
SGA all last year, right? That was the last 3.
Yeah.
What?
Last year's MVP race. Wasn't it SGA, Luka, and Jokic? Wasn't that the top 3?
I believe so.
I think so. I know Jokic won, and then the year before it was Joel Embiid.
And then
that was Jokic, and then it was Giannis, and then I think it was Giannis again.
I think Jokic went back to back, didn't he?
Yeah, Jokic
went back to back.
Yeah,
Jokic was
back
to
he
back.
should have won it the 3rd time, but that's why I was saying the consistency bias that he may not be. Yeah, they end up giving it to Joel Embiid, but I don't know. I feel like that's going to happen again. I think that Jokic probably in the long run deserves it more, but SGA will end up with it unless something catastrophic happens in the next 20 some games. But SGA definitely has to deserve it though. He's played a hell of a season.
Crazy to think
that. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say it's crazy to think that we were literally just one social media campaign away from having, or had we not had a social media campaign, we would have had the first 4-peat MVP in NBA history. Like y'all saw how hard Embiid, like everyone was trying so hard to get that man that MVP, and that to me that was like the most paper MVP I think I've ever seen.
Yeah, but then you can say the same thing for LeBron. LeBron should have won like 6 years, 7 years in a row.
Yeah.
Easily.
LeBron could almost won every year.
No, I agree. Like the whole MVP race, it fits a narrative. There's a narrative around it, and I think it's kind of stupid at certain points. So
yeah, me too. I think MVP should literally be what it is: most valuable player of that season. So like, the most value you have to your team, the most value you have as an individual player for the season. Like, I think it should be both. I don't think it should just be, oh, your team is number one in the West, and you're mediocre, but you're the best player in that team, so we're gonna try and give you the MVP. No, I don't think it should be like that. I think it should be like, just even if your team is 5th seed, but you have crazy numbers the whole season, like I think that should be an account too. Like, I don't think it should just be like, oh, the top 2 teams of each conference are gonna have guys at the MVP ladder.
Yeah, we should we have like some kind of standards that we need to apply for the MVP, just so that way we get consistency.
Yeah, it's such a subjective thing, you know. It's you could, like you were saying before, you know, LeBron probably could have won it every year, and you know, people would hate him even more. But
LeBron could have won it in the 2010s every year. Jordan could have won it every year in the 90s.
In the 90s,
Yeah, Bird and Magic should have been flip flopping in the 80s. So,
did you guys hear that Channing Frye thing about the nostalgia's killing the NBA thing? Did you guys hear that long rant he was on?
No.
So Channing Frye the other day, maybe like 2 days ago or so, something like that, was trying to basically say that a lot of people are taking it. There's a shot at like Chuck and Shaq about like the 90s nostalgia of how Michael Jordan all these players still get compared to Jordan, and he was over 40 years ago that he was actually playing, or 30 years ago, whatever the hell it was, and that these new players, that's why the league can't advance, because there is no face of the league. No one wants to ever be the face of the league because you're always constantly compared to these guys that was 30, 40 years ago. I don't know. I mean, just be better than maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, those guys were getting compared to players of past generations too. When Michael Jordan was coming up, everybody thought you had to be 6'10" and above, or a big man, in order to lead a franchise and win championships. So, like, everybody faces it. Like,
it's always going to be like that, though. It's always going to be like that. The old heads are going to want the old people, and the new heads are going to want the new generation. It's always gonna be like that.
It's just, what are you going to do about it? You're going to make excuses and complain and moan, and you're just going to go out there and ball out.
Yeah,
like the whole argument of like MJ and Bron, like, I don't even like to have that argument because like I don't even think Bron is the same type of player as MJ. I think
LeBron plays more like anything. That's exactly what I was about to say. He might be more at Magic Johnson than anything, to be honest.
With a better shot, honestly,
and better defense,
And then MJ, the closest person to compare MJ to is literally Kobe, and like Kobe's not better than MJ. Like, real. Kobe's not better
honestly.
Than MJ.
I just prefer, when I'm comparing players, don't compare them across eras. Just compare them to who was the best in their time. You know, Jordan was the best in the 90s, Bird, Magic in the 80s, Kobe, Duncan, 2000s, and like Curry and LeBron for 2010s.
I just think the skills, what they do on the court, you should compare them. I don't think it should be just because one player is the best in his generation while another player is best in their generation. When it's like, and then when you have the argument, they're like, when you say Bron is better than MJ, they'll come back and they'll say, well, MJ won 6 championships without losing any, never lost in the finals. It's like, okay, so if we're comparing chips, then we'll say Bill Russell's the best because he has 11 chips. So like, where does the argument stop? It doesn't stop anywhere. It doesn't stop.
You need to, if you're going to argue it, just include everything that they did, not just one aspect of it or another. Like, there's nuance to, like we said, skill. There is, I think, era that they play in, like, depending on, I think it does kind of affect their standing a little bit too. Amount of awards they've won, amount of teams, like honors, all-stars, NBA, all defense, like all that stuff like that should be in there. We need to discuss that.
You know what's wild about the championship things is that I kind of feel like it's only for certain sports. And hear me out, though, what I'm saying is that, like, baseball, basketball, football are the only 3 that, like, I feel like it comes down to it. So, like, you got hockey, for instance. Alex Ovechkin is about to take over Wayne Gretzky's goal thing, who is that goal record was like 864 goals, something along those lines. Nobody ever thought that anybody's even going to come close. He's 8 away from it. Wow. But yet you still can I don't feel like there's many hockey guys that are like, oh, Ovechkin's better than Gretzky now, or Gretzky's better than them, or you got, you know, I don't know very many hockey guys, but I'm saying, you don't hear that argument when it comes to like hockey. You can honestly say Messi is one of the greatest. Ronaldo is one of the greats. Like it's only, I feel like those three sports of people, that's like their back argument of it is that you have to be great to have championships. Like Marino, he was great, but never won the championship or nothing. Like it's kind of wild. I think with those three sports in particular,
there's a lot of variables that could
Mike
go.
Trout.
Yeah. There's a lot of variables that go into it, and if you want to save this conversation for another day, we can. Don't worry about it. You could cut me off, but dude, there's a lot of variables that go into it. Just with the MJ and Bron stuff, like everybody wants to say that MJ is better because he went 6-0 in the NBA Finals. And Bron did it, and Bron has lost like 4 of them or 5 or whatever the hell.
He also went to like 10 straight, though, too.
He went to 10 straight, and MJ only went there because of Scottie Pippen. Like, not only the only reason, obviously.
I get what you're saying.
Yeah,
MJ,
but that's the argument.
Fantastic basketball player, one of the greatest for sure.
Yeah,
he didn't get there until Scottie Pippen was on the team.
That's what I was about to say. A lot of people seem to forget sometimes too that like it took Jordan a long time to get there, and then on top of it too, like those teams that he had
4 times.
Right,
LeBron only lost in the first round like 3 years ago.
Right, and on top of it too, a lot of those teams that Jordan had, once they got put together, they were damn good teams. You had Steve Kerr coming off the bench for Christ's sake. You know what I mean?
And again, if you want to move on, just tell me. But like, just talking about the teams that MJ faced in the finals were nothing compared to the teams that Bron faced in the finals. Let's be real. Like, Bron faced his first year Tim Duncan, Manu Ginobili, Tony Parker, Boris Diaw, Brett Brown. I could keep going.
You got LeBron
himself.
Yeah, I was about to say just LeBron himself, but then he were naming some Spurs role players as if like Duncan, Manu, and Tony Parker, cool. But now you start naming like Bruce Brown or whatever. Like LeBron had help too. LeBron had guys on that team too.
Robert Horry, that series was going ballistic.
I know. My thing is, honestly, let us know in the comment section. Do you guys want us to have this debate in like a whole? We could do a whole show.
We could do a whole show just on it because I'm gonna be going at it.
I will too, man, because I'm like, let's look at the whole context, everything about it, not just picking it's MJ versus everybody, it's LeBron versus for me, my vote is every star player, every all-time great needs somebody to win. And it doesn't matter if you get bounced in the first round, if you get bounced in the finals, the ultimate goal at the end of the day is to win a championship.
And the same thing goes with football. The same thing. Yep. It's like I do believe that Tom Brady is one of the GOATs of quarterbacks for sure.
Yeah.
But if you take away the defenses that he had, does he still do the same thing?
Yeah. Well, and especially you could say on the big stage. I think, honestly, take a look at I think every great quarterback should be evaluated on their Super Bowl performances. Who's done the best in the big games? And Brady, he's had some solid games like the one in Tampa against Kansas City, but he only threw for about 200 yards, I want to say, or to like 240 and like 2 or 3 touchdowns. I mean, that's solid, but it's not like all-time great performance on the big stage. Whereas you have other guys like Joe Montana, Steve Young, that really ball out when the lights are on super bright. So, and that's, I think, something we could definitely get into. I love it.
The hard part with that angle of the debate too is that Patrick Mahomes in his career has always had his worst games in the Super Bowl. Every Super Bowl he's played into. Yep. That goes back into that. Like, all right, so you're gonna try to say that he's not great or something? I can see people getting pissed about that one. But
I will say, when it comes to debating greatness, you got to nitpick, unfortunately.
Of course. You got to nitpick because there's going to be haters. And then obviously you got to nitpick the facts and the opinion, 100%.
Yep.
It's just, I've never understood when it comes to the Bron and MJ debate, they like to argue stuff about Bron, but then when you do it for MJ, it's like, it turns into like they don't know what the hell you're talking about.
Yeah, I've seen it go both ways, and it's just like, can we just bring some good, reasonable, rational debate into this?
But that's what it is. It turns into emotion because either side. I'm not gonna say just MJ side because I see a lot of Bron fans that do the same
Shannon
thing.
Sharp.
Yeah, they just go off of emotion after a while, and it's just like, no, go off of the facts. Go off of the facts. That's it.
Yep. Yep. So yeah, the views from the stands debate hour. Let's do it.
Yeah,
Debate.
the last thing I'll say on that one, yeah, we can definitely, because there's gonna be a little bit of a dry season coming up here very soon, so we got nothing but time. We can debate that one.
Hey, we got baseball,
well, it's just pitchers and catchers pretty much at this point. Spring training, I think, the regular season.
The game's already started, no?
Spring training's just started.
Yeah, it's March 18th. I think the regular season starts. But hey, I mean, we get the automatic catch.
I will say I have liked the challenges that they've done for ABS for calls like that. I think that it has helped. It has, like, the first game of the season I worked for the Tigers. Like, there was a couple calls that really helped, that were reversed, that changed the outcome of that game, I think. So
yeah, well, definitely, we got a lot of baseball talk coming up here too. I think that's definitely coming up very soon, especially with spring training around, kind of going in full swing, ergo baseball. But so I think we'll get into that one. But I think with the one thing I was going to say, the last thing I was going to say about the LeBron and MJ thing is, I think that MJ, I think part of what people get, like, maybe the emotional side of it and the different stuff, was that Jordan changed everything and became like one of the biggest celebrities in the world. He changed. 100%. He was people's sexiest man alive at one point. He was cooler than everybody else. He was, you know what I'm saying? Like, he was just one of the first few athletes, American athletes, that really took over the world. He was one of the most popular people in the world, and Space Jam was better, and just I'm just saying,
I think also too.
And I agree with that.
I think that's kind of where things kind of go with where people get the emotional side of, like, Jordan, was because how much of an impact and how important he was. LeBron, not saying LeBron hasn't done his fair share of important work and important things and become a celebrity and done his own thing in his own right, but Jordan was before the social media world as well. So he was that popular without even social media, it was, everybody knew who Michael Jordan was. You can go to some, extremely small country in, probably middle of Africa maybe or something, and they could probably still tell you they knew who Michael Jordan is.
That's what I'm saying. Like, people will revoke the conversation. They won't talk about just straight up who's a better basketball player for their team, for their success, for their career. They won't. Yeah,
and I think that's where that's where it kind of goes a little awry with some people sometimes, is that aspect of it, because of how important and just all, like, just the nostalgia of Jordan, honestly.
And he was the most I think the most impactful player to the sport. 100%. 100%.
Yeah, definitely was.
First billionaire athlete in all of sports too. So there's that.
Yeah, I see he just sold his house.
I did not, but I imagine probably.
Actually, I kind of thought. I mean, not saying it's not cheap. Don't get me wrong here, or something like that. But I think it sold for like $9 million or something along those lines. But it came with it had, I think, what did you see it, George? What was it? It's 3,600 square feet or 36,000 square feet or something.
I didn't get into all the details, but I saw it on Twitter. Like I just
it has a whole room of Jordans. You get to play it has a basketball court inside, like. It has like every pair of Jordans ever made, like in this glass case or something along those lines. Wow. Like,
shout out to Jordan, man. He got a Cuban wife like me, dog. Shout out to Jordan.
There we go, man. Hey, all right, well, so we're gonna go ahead and move on to that one, and we will definitely get back into this debate because it's always fun to go into. But for right now, we're gonna go ahead and get into our section of our Down Bad Debate. And if you can't see this one on the screen, I will help you out a little bit as well. Sorry about that. Little technical difficulties. There we go. Anyways, this one is going to be kind of fun here, man. We got a debate of states. All right. And the debate today is best NFL lineup. All right. So it's going to be breaking down into a few different states. We've got Louisiana, we got Florida, we got Texas, Pennsylvania, and California. All right, so representing Team Louisiana, you got Dak Prescott, Trevor Etienne, Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase, and Malik Neighbors. Team Florida is Lamar Jackson, Derrick Henry, Tank Dell, Zay Flowers, and Jerry Jeudy. Team Texas, you got Patrick Mahomes, J.K. Dobbins, Jalen Waddle, Mike Evans, Cortland Sutton. Team Pennsylvania is Bryce Young, James Conner, Chris Godwin, DJ Moore, and Marvin Harrison Jr. And Team Cali is Josh Allen, Joe Mixon, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Devontae Adams, and Brock Bowers. All right, man. This one is going to be fun and tough to deal with on this, man. Mr. BC, you're up top, my man. Guess who gets the liberty of going first?
Oh, you guys always do this to me. I'm convinced you guys hate me after that first time. Anyway,
You want to go first? I'll go first. I already know my
Nah,
answer.
I'm. You know what? Screw it. I'll do it. At this point, oh gosh, this is a tough one because it's like you've got the best backfield. I think is in Florida. Best receiving core is I think in Louisiana, but I think for me to kind of balance it out, it might be a bit of a reach just because I'm not sold on Devontae Adams, but give me California. Give me that because I like the balance there. You've got Josh Allen, who's a top five quarterback, Joe Mixon, top five running back, and then Brock Bowers, generational talent at tight end. That's the only one that has a tight end in the receiving group. So go ahead and give me Cali. Why not?
All right, Mr. G Mike, what you got?
I took Cali too, man. I think
Oh.
Josh Allen, he's the third best quarterback here. I like Joe Mixon. I like his versatility with catching the ball and running the ball. Devontae Adams and Amar St. Brown, they both are great route runners and sticky glue hands. And obviously, Brock Bowers, the rookie sensation, can catch the ball as well, too. But if I would have to pick a second one, just because BC picked already Cali, I think you got to go with my Florida boys, baby. Lamar Jackson out there running the rock and throwing the rock. Derrick Henry, you already can see what they can do together. Obviously, adding Zay Flowers to the mix as well. Ravens were top offense in the league for a little while this season. Tank Dell can run it deep and catch a long ball, while Jerry Jeudy has some sick route running skills and he has some nice hands as well.
All right, I am going to take one of my all-time favorite cities in the Big Easy and give me Louisiana all day, man. If you got Dak Prescott and he's got a hell of an arm, he can still be mobile. You got Trevor Etienne who can catch in the backfield, and needless to say, you got the LSU trio of Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase, and Malik Neighbors, all three on the same team at the same time. And if you give me a healthy Dak Prescott who can get them the ball without a doubt, give me Team Louisiana all day long, man.
Louisiana.
Give me that.
All right, yeah. So you guys want to do this just as a quick recap, real quick, man. BC, who you got, man?
I got California. To me, it's the most well-rounded state of the bunch with an option at tight end for your third wide receiver.
I got California as well, but I'll take the Florida boys, baby. You know what it is, baby.
Give me Team Louisiana, man. Dak Prescott, Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase, and Malik Neighbors, all on the same damn team, all the same damn time. Any damn time, man. Give me that all day of the week, man. I think that'd be one hell of a duo right there.
Yep.
All right, ladies and gents, that is going to wrap it up for us on a Tuesday night show. I want to thank everybody that was able to watch it for us. We had some people out there checking in for us and everything, so we really appreciate that. Keep that up. Please give us a like and subscribe. Hey, it's a free birthday gift. My birthday is on Thursday, so please just give us some likes and subscribes for my birthday. How about that? It's not. Thank you. G Mike, what you got for the people, man?
Hey, just thank you guys for supporting, showing love. Please like and subscribe. You already know. If not, follow on our socials as well. That would be greatly appreciated. If you guys want to come on the show and talk smack, we'll put you on the live feed. If not, just be up in the chat, ask us a few questions, tell us how ugly we are, whatever the case may be. Yeah. But we would love the interaction.
Say how bad my haircut looks like a little kid's haircut, just stuff like that. I may or may not have been called that before, but
You're a mannish boy, that's all.
You're a mannish boy.
I'm young at heart. What can I say?
You're a man boy.
Good looking.
You're a man boy.
I got
real quick, I was always saying if I was gonna be a rapper, I'd be a young little old man.
Young little old man.
Oh man, shoot.
I'm dropping an album, man.
Oh man. Hey, before we go though, real quick though too, I just want to give a shout out to my alma mater, Victory Christian Academy, representing the Class 1A state semifinals, pulling out the quadruple.
Coming in.
Yep, quadruple overtime victory against North Tampa Christian. Near lost my whole voice announcing that game. But hey, shout out to the Storm right there. Great job, you guys. Looking forward to Thursday night. It's going down. If anybody happens to be in the Lakeland area, RP Funding Center, be there.
There we go, man. Can't wait. Let's go VCA, man. There we go.
Sure.
All right, well, we are going to hopefully get back either maybe this weekend, or if not, we'll be seeing you guys next week. We got some NFL Combine news to talk about, I'm sure. Some interesting stuff with that. And whatever else comes up in the world of news, we'll be on top of it. So we really appreciate everything you guys do for us and all the watches and the love and support. So please give us likes and subscribe, and we will see you guys very, very soon.